When the world feels big, a small note can mean everything. Find mental health support at sdbehavioralhealth.gov.
Do you have a pest problem? Got bats, ants, termites? Family owned and operated, Olson's Pest Technicians have had over 50 years experience taking care of pest problems in places across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. Utilizing brilliant methods such as Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatment for bed bugs. There's no pest too tough for Olson's Pest Technicians. If you have pest problems, call 800-KILL-BUGS.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Futures aren't made by accident. They're dreamt, they're planned, they're discovered. At Northern State University, futures are the result of hard work and grit. NSU is an academic powerhouse with a spirit of exploration and genuine support, where professors know your name and push you to discover what you're truly capable of. But don't take our word for it. When you experience Northern, you'll see the difference here.
Welcome back to the Denny Menholt Auto Group of...
So the high school regular season is winding down, and the playoffs start in Class 11 AAA in just 2 weeks. Rapid City Stevens is 0-7 as the Raiders continue to try and get that first win, or maybe get a win here in these final 2 weeks of the regular season. In fact, Stevens hasn't won a game since October of 2023. Meanwhile, the Raiders face the O'Gorman Knights, who have won 3 out of their last 4 games to run their record to 4-3 on the season. Now let's break down this matchup as we start first with Rapid City Stevens. Last week, the Raiders found themselves down 28-0 to Sioux Falls Roosevelt, but they battled back. They were driving late in the game before they were stopped on downs. Now, Dean, it was definitely one of the most entertaining games in Class 11 AAA last week, but unfortunately, again, the Raiders, just could not pull out the victory.
Yeah, no doubt. I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I actually couldn't even find it online. Usually Howard Woodfield does a really good job of posting those online, but for whatever reason, it wasn't there. So I didn't get a chance to kind of see that. But, yeah, it looked like it was maybe a closer game than kind of what we've been used to for the Raiders, just watching them all year long and just watching their struggles and kind of everything that they've kind of tried to battle through this year with injuries and just players not being able to play and just a lot of adversity, change in I almost said management, but it's not really management, changing not really the coaching staff, but the head coach. So just a lot of things that they've had to try to battle through just to put a good season together, something at least that you can enjoy as a player to come out and do. And I think one of their better shots at winning a game did come last week against Roosevelt, and unfortunately they could not come up with that. So now they got O'Gorman tonight, and then of course the big rivalry game next week. So they're obviously it's going to be a real tough matchup for the Raiders tonight. They're struggling defensively. They show a few signs of life offensively if they can get the ball to some of their playmakers, but in general they're just kind of struggling on both sides of the ball. And I hate to say it, but I don't know if that's really going to change much here tonight. Hopefully next week it will.
Again, like Dean said, the Raiders are struggling offensively. They're averaging only about 9 points per game. Some performances to mention last week. Offensively, Austin Floor went 9 of 22 for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, he did have 2 picks in the ballgame. Brady Waddell had 4 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. And then lastly, Aiden Devine and Aiden Perigo each had 49 yards rushing for the Raiders. They are playing the national anthem, so we will pause for 1 minute. We will come back and take a look at our keys to the game. We'll do that when we return again in 1 minute right here on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Things were a little different back in 1979, but at McKee Ford, our approach to customer service hasn't changed. We're a family-owned and operated dealership with a commitment to respect and integrity. See us on the Big Ford Corner or online at McKeeFord.com.
At McKee Ford, we've got it. F-Series, Super Duty, Rangers, and Mavericks. All with up to $14,485 off MSRP.
See us on the Big Ford Corner or online at McKeeFord.com.
At Dakota Discount RV, our mission is to make your RV experience fun and easy by providing quality recreational vehicles, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. We're proud to offer the finest names in RVs. Our big inventory of fifth wheels, travel trailers, and toy haulers allow us to save customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Come see us at either of our two locations, 3330 East Mall Drive, Rapid City, or 11200 JB Road, exit 48, Somerset.
Out here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
Would you buy your insurance from a cartoon character?
What's up, Doc?
Cartoons are good for a laugh, but when you're in an accident or you need your home covered and need help, it's no laughing matter. That's why you need a real person, like Lance at Van Zee Insurance Associates. It's not just simple insurance either. Lance has you covered with home, life, auto, and business. Van Zee Insurance is your place to call. Stop by today or give Lance a call at 605-393-2399.
Melissa Christensen with Engel & Volkers is a trusted real estate advisor in the Black Hills. She brings precision, dedication, and clear communication to every transaction. Melissa focuses on service, not sales, always putting her clients first. She's also passionate about supporting local youth activities, helping to strengthen communities and build a brighter future for our kids. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, Melissa is here to guide you every step of the way. Stop in or call Melissa Christensen with Engel & Volkers today.
Welcome back to the Denny Menholt Auto Group of Rapid City Press Box.
For the O'Gorman Knights, he says, what we need to really minimize the penalties out there. They had 3 penalties that cost them touchdowns last week and actually cost them the game. And, of course, another one, as we always say, part of the mistakes is turnovers. They had 2 of them last week. One on the goal line, right as kind of toward the end of the game, had a shot at taking the lead and maybe winning the game there. One right on the goal line, and one inside the 20 early on in the game. Both of those could have easily resulted in scores, and they did not get them. So that's going to be huge for the Knights, just really eliminating the mistakes. When you talk about mistakes, there's no doubt about it. For the Raiders, it's penalties, it is turnovers, no doubt. But somehow they got to find a way to use their defense to get the Knights off of the field. That's going to be the big thing when they're coming up against them. No matter how well your offense is working, if you can't get the other team off of the field, then that's going to be huge. So it's going to be a challenge. The Raiders are going to be undersized and undermanned, but somehow they got to come up with a big turnover, something to really kind of flip the script tonight for them, and especially defensively.
Again, that's our keys to the game, being brought to you by Dakota Discount RV. Again, you can find them across from Cabela's in Rapid City on JB Road in Blackhawk, or you can take a look at them online at DakotaDiscountRV.com. Looking at the starting lineups for tonight's game, built by Connect Home Center and Ace Hardware. Whether it's residential or commercial, Connect Home Center has been your hometown lumber yard since 1928. And Ace Hardware. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. For the visiting O'Gorman Knights, their quarterback is number 3, Chase Hermanson, a 6'2", 185-pound junior. The running back, number 24, Gavin Hamrich, a 6'2", 215-pound senior who is signed to play with Augustana. Also, the wide receivers, number 6, Matt Steffen, a 6'2", 180-pound senior, along with number 1, Logan Mebius, a 5'11", 160-pound senior. The fullback, number 2, Jack Stocklin, he stands 5'11", 190 pounds, and a senior. And the tight end is Jace Mueller, a 6'4", 220-pound senior, wearing number 4. The offensive line, the left tackle, number 60, Dylan Fitzgerald. The left guard, number 66, Chase Halfeman. The center is number 50, Easton Erickson. The right guard is number 74, Henry Chinhoa, a 6'7", 290-pound senior. And the right tackle, number 55, Rip Simonsma, 6'1", 250 pounds, and a senior. Looking at the starting lineup as they get set to do the coin flip here this evening between Rapid City Stevens and the O'Gorman Knights. For Rapid City Stevens, at quarterback will be number 3, Austin Floor, a 6'1", 185-pound junior. Number 11, John Paul Sullivan, the starting wide receiver, a 5'10", 155-pound senior. Also at wide receiver, number 13, Aiden Perigo, a 5'11", 160-pound junior. Along with number 19, Brady Waddell, a 6 foot, 175-pound junior. The running back, number 26, Aiden Devine. Aiden is a 5'7", 160-pound senior. Looking at the line for Rapid City Stevens, the right tackle, number 54, Corbin Fish, 6'2", 220 pounds, and a sophomore. The right guard, number 66, Will Vines, 5'10", 260 pounds, and a junior. At center is number 67, Jack Gunther, 5'11", 255 pounds, and a senior. The left tackle, number 72, David Schmidt, a 6'3", 240-pound junior. And at left guard, number 73, Johnny Miller, a 6'3", 240-pound sophomore. Again, head coach in his first year for the Rapid City Stevens Raiders is Willie Steven. And Dean, the coin flip, won by who?
I wasn't even paying attention. Well, I'm watching kind of the injuries. You're talking about lineups there. It looks like number 4 for O'Gorman is Jason Miller, the senior tight end. You listed him, but he is in a hoodie out there.
Okay.
And so Alex Christian is going to get the start for them at tight end. And then number 4 for Stevens was also in a hoodie out there. And I don't know who that is, but he's one of the captains, so I assume he's a significant player. But I had him a number 4. I know they've had to really shift things around as far as the lineups go. And I assume that the Knights won the toss and deferred.
Again, that's a look at our starting lineups. Again, looks like it might be a little bit, or changed a little bit for tonight. And we'll take a look at our players to watch in just a moment. But we are getting set for the kickoff here this evening between the 0-7 Rapid City Stevens Raiders and the 4-3 O'Gorman Knights from Sioux Falls. O'Gorman back to receive in their white jerseys with the white helmets. Raiders in their blue jerseys with white pants and blue helmets. Here's the kickoff. This one taken inside the 5-yard line, out to the 10, the 15, to the middle of the field, breaks a tackle, still on his feet, gets out into the open field, and finally tackled inside Raider territory, inside the 40-yard line.
Yeah, that's a nice looking return there by the Knights. A couple of Raiders had a shot at him, but he broke up a lot of tackles. Finally, Corbin O'Connor, the sophomore, finally brought him down, like you said, in Raider territory at about the 40-yard line.
And again, we'll take a look at our players to watch in just a moment. O'Gorman has the football first here. Nice return all the way to the 40-yard line.
I got to get the right football in here, so we can rotate the one. Got to check out how deflated it is. Oh, just kidding. They check all that stuff before the game. They even have pressure gauge. Officials got to have like a pressure gauge to make sure it's good enough. Because some of them like to. I've heard of teams overinflating their kicking ball. Try to get a little more boot out of it.
Take a look at our officials in just a moment as well. Again, out of the shotgun. Looking down the left sideline, a deep throw. It is caught by the receiver, and he is short of the goal line. He thought he was in.
Just short of it there. Was it 88? Was he on that side?
I believe so.
So that would be Alex Christian on that side. I was like, it's either 83 or 88.
I believe 88. Alex Christian, the 6'3", 205-pound junior, makes a catch, a 39-yard gain down to the 1-yard line.
I actually think it's Tanner Sharon.
Oh, okay.
Or Tanner Sharon, because 88's on this side and 83's over on that side. So obviously Sharon got the start.
Hermanson, there's the give. Right up the middle and in for the score from a yard out is going to be Gavin Hamrich for the O'Gorman Knights.
I think that's actually Jack Stockland. Was that number 2?
Or number, I think you're right, it was number.
I think it was number 2. I think it was the fullback in there. I think that was, that was
Jack Stockland in for the score.
Stockland gets in there. Just the quick dive up the middle. You're on like the 2-yard line. You just dive it in right away. So 2 big plays by the O'Gorman Knights, and they're quickly in Raider territory. 2 big plays, and they are in the end zone and jump out to the early lead.
The extra point is good, so on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. 11-12 to go in the first quarter. It's already actually 6-0, so it looks like the extra point was no good.
Oh, it looked like it was good.
I thought it was too.
I didn't watch the officials. I was busy watching the players.
So 6-0, Sioux Falls O'Gorman with the lead early in this ball game. We'll take a quick look at our players to watch. Today's players to watch powered by the E3 Sports Complex. E3 is Rapid City's newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts for basketball and volleyball. Have your athlete unlock their full potential with expert training and coaching from the E3 trainers and coaches. Learn more and get your athlete started by visiting e3sports.org. Check out the E3 Sports Complex on East North Street in Rapid City.
Well, we're going to go with the O'Gorman Knights first because there's the visitors. Isaac Meyer, I think, is going to have a big game for them. Now, he's not the starting running back. He is tonight, but he's not normally. Normally, it's Gavin Hamrick, but Hamrick was injured. He came in. He got the start last week, but he shared time with Isaac Meyer, and now he's suited up and ready to go, but not getting the start tonight for them. But I think he's probably going to be the player you might call a little bit more often tonight for them. For the Raiders on the other side, also their running back, Aiden Devine. I think if the line can get a push, I think Devine can have a big game tonight.
Raiders on the return, taking it deep out to about the 30-yard line. So a decent return for Rapid City Stevens. Getting up number 13, Aiden Perigo on the return.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot going to be in the hands of Austin Floor. He's going to have to be able to make plays and such. So you're definitely going to call his name a lot, and hopefully some of the receivers as well. But I think just because of the size difference, I think there is a potential. If the Raiders can get a push up front, I think they can have more success with Devine running the ball, which is going to set up options.
Here's the pitch to the right side. Trying to break a tackle, but not having much success. That was number 26, so that was Devine.
Yeah, and a nice job on the outside there. Was that Colin Boyle, number 53, the defensive end? Did exactly what he thought. There looked like there was running room, but instead he stepped out and forced him to turn back inside. It looks like it's 58. It looked like a 3 to me, but it's supposed to be 53 is getting the start.
Floor under center. And we're going to get, we do get a penalty, our first wrench law flag on the field in this ball game.
It's actually 59, Grant Roth for the O'Gorman Knights over there.
Five-yard penalty against the Knights. It's an offsides penalty.
I think they probably feel confident in their secondary to handle things in the backside, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do a fair amount of blitzing just to try to disrupt some things.
We're looking at 2nd and 5 now with Floor under center once again. There's the pitch. They go to Devine. Devine tries to break a tackle. He's going to be stood up at the line of scrimmage. No gain as the ball is marked at the 35-yard line of the Raiders. They're looking at 3rd actually in about 6 to go.
Our crack investigative staff, Matt Kearney over there saying, yes, the extra point was good. I think they were just late putting the number up there. So
okay.
Usually you hear like a cheer or something like that when, you block an extra point or something like that.
Mm-hmm. They fake the jet sweep. Floor out of the pocket. There's the pass. It's incomplete as he was running out of real estate there. Just had to get rid of the football. And then we get a penalty flag that comes in late.
The big late penalty. It was the fake jet sweep trying to draw them in, and then they're actually trying to throw a screen, but the O'Gorman Knights, very disciplined, were all over it.
We'll hear from our white hat, which is Brett Distel tonight.
So an eligible receiver, and that's tough there because he rolled out. He was trying to buy some time. Plus, if it's a screen play, your linemen are going to get downfield and block. So they're naturally downfield. There's probably a whole bunch of them. They picked one guy, but I wouldn't be surprised it was probably 4 or 5 linemen that were downfield because that's where they're supposed to be because he's supposed to catch the ball behind the line of scrimmage.
So the punting unit out there for Rapid City Stevens. There's the punt from inside the 25-yard line. End over end takes a bounce at the 35-yard line. Rolls towards the sideline. It's going to be down by the Raiders at the 41-yard line. Again, 7-0. O'Gorman getting the ball for the second time tonight with 9:25 to go. Real quickly, let's look at our Law on the Field, which is being brought to you by the South Dakota Attorney General's Office, Division of Consumer Protection. Today's officials are Brett Distel, your referee, Mike Burke is your umpire, Tom Wheaton is your linesman, Terry Keller, the line judge, and Tom Polonsic is the back judge.
I do know a few of those guys. I was like, I don't recognize them. From up here, they all look the same, They all wear stripes and have black pants, except for if you have some white or a black hat. But no, I know a couple of those guys.
So once again, it will be O'Gorman football. 1st and 10 on their own 40-yard line. There's a pass. Actually batted down by number 84 for the Raiders.
Nice job getting penetration in the backfield. And that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to draw the defense in, and then you just kind of dump it over the top of the end. That was Jace Gingras for the Raiders getting in. Can't miss him. His bright pink shirt, of course, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so a lot of pink bands and pink wrapping there.
Again, Hermanson on the jet sweep. They give the ball. This goes to Mebius. Mebius tries to turn the corner. Takes it across the 45 to the 46-yard line for a gain of 6. That will bring up 3rd and 4 now for O'Gorman. Again, from the Knights' 46-yard line, going from left to right.
Yeah, again, just a huge... I know it's way early, but the Raiders are already down 7-0. You got them in a third and a manageable situation for them defensively.
There's the give, and that's going to be maybe short of a first down.
I think the lean, he got it by the lean, but the way the side judge is marking it, they're going to say no. And are they going to measure? They might have to measure this one.
Brett Distel's taking a look at it, but
his keen eye.
And he's saying 4th down.
Yep. It looked like he got the lean actually at about the 50, even just a smidge over the 50. But instead, they're going to mark him a little bit short of that.
So 4th down territory for O'Gorman, 4th and less than a yard, with the ball right at about the 49.5-yard line.
We'll see if they do like a freeze play and just try to get him to jump a little bit.
Tight formation, Hermanson. There's the direct snap. It's going to go to...
I don't think... He didn't get it.
Number 2, Jack Stocklin.
Yeah, he got upended at about the 49.5-yard line. They're going to say yes. the first hit, he got hit early on and kind of bounced up a little bit, but I think as he kind of fell forward, you kind of taught as a running back, don't get driven back. Don't fall backwards. Whatever it is, stay low and fall forward. And I think that's exactly what they did as the nose of the football hit the 50.
1st and 10 from midfield. Hermanson out of the shotgun. There's the give, cutting back to the left, but tackled right at midfield on that carry is number 14, Isaac Meyer. Stopped for no gain.
Bridger Metz, the sophomore, comes up with a big hit. He's going to get credit for the tackle on that, but that was actually the outside either end or linebacker on this side would actually drove him back to the inside. Metz was just the guy who gets the credit in the tackle.
Hermanson again out of the shotgun, 2nd and 10. Fakes the handoff, throws down the middle of the field, has a receiver. It's incomplete. He had the defender beat, but he could not come down with it as he hits the turf.
Yeah, and the defender comes up limping, and I think their feet got kind of tangled up with. I wouldn't be surprised if the Knights are saying, hey, that's a pass interference call, but I think right as he caught the ball, that's where their feet got tangled, and so they're going to say incomplete as he couldn't complete the catch to the ground.
Matt Steffen was the intended receiver. Number 6, that is incomplete. So 3rd and 10 now from midfield. Hermanson out of the shotgun. Again, Hermanson out of the pocket into Raider territory at the 40-yard line. Finally tackled after a gain of 12 down to the Raider 38 on the carry there by Chase Hermanson.
Yeah, just not staying disciplined in your rushing lanes. Leave it wide open. Hermanson's got some legs. Uses it, gets upfield, wide open space, and just takes off, and unfortunately isn't met until he crosses the 40.
Again, thanks for watching the stream tonight on GoRaidersLive.com. 7-0 is your score. The O'Gorman Knights leading Rapid City Stevens. 1st and 10 from the Raider 38. Screen pass left side, caught by Stockland. Stockland at the 35 and tackled as he crosses the 35 down to the 33-yard line.
How about Stockland doing some work tonight? He's always, you think of fullbacks anymore, the fullbacks like don't exist, especially when you're watching football on Sundays and Saturdays. There's not too many of them, but here they're using him, and they're always like the 5th receiver. So they're always matched up with a linebacker who's like a middle backer who's always 10 yards away from them, and so you got to be able to cover them.
Hermanson again, another screen pass left side. It's going to be caught by number 1 Logan Mebius. And Mebius is going to be tackled right about the 30-yard line.
That one thing I like about the O'Gorman Knights in just their diversity. You've got the Lincoln Patriots high-powered passing game, decent running game. You've got Brandon Valley, who's got a high-powered running game and a decent passing game. But the O'Gorman Knights, I don't think they're tremendous in either one of those categories, but they're pretty good. And just because of the diversity of that, that makes that pretty good all that much better, because you have to be able to defend both the pass and the run. You can't just take away one and force them to do another one. You have to cover both. And just even the play calling diversity, I think I say this year over year, I just love how well they call plays and just keep you guessing.
And this one is going to get blown dead. It was a 1st down after Brett Distel took a look. Now we have another wrench law flag on the field.
We're going to delay a game here by the O'Gorman Knights. But, it's interesting. Brett's had to bust out his spectacles a couple times tonight. He doesn't have glasses, I'm just kidding. But he's had to kind of eyeball the field several times.
So 1st and 10 turns into 1st and 15 now with the ball on the 34-yard line. Dropping back is Hermanson. Throws down the middle of the field deep for the end zone. It's caught by the receiver, and it is a touchdown for the O'Gorman Knights, number 83, Tanner Sharon.
And Sharon again, they obviously found that matchup, who they're going to go with. He's actually not their main receiver, but they're getting that matchup. He just ran a post route and absolutely ran by the defender, who didn't get his hips turned around in time. No help from the safety, or the safety came over, but he was also underneath that route, and just over the top goes Tanner and into the end zone, and the Knights are up a couple of scores now.
There's the extra point attempt. That one I can tell is for sure good.
We actually watched that time.
So on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agent Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick, with 4:59 to go in this first quarter, it is O'Gorman 14, Rapid City Stevens nothing. We'll step aside for just 30 seconds. You're listening to high school football on Fox Sports Rapid City and also on GoRaidersLive.com.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Welcome back to the Denny Menholt Auto Group of Rapid City Press Box.
Time Auto Sales, Service and Detail Broadcast Booth, Sales, Service, and Recreation. With Dean Gurr, I'm Jerome Wickersham. O'Gorman had the ball twice, 2 touchdowns. They lead 14-0 on the State Farm scoreboard. We'll see if this Raider team can get things going now as they get the ball for the second time tonight. Here's the kickoff. It is taken inside the 5-yard line by the Raiders, out to the 10, the 15. Again, another nice return out to about the 25-yard line for the Raiders.
Yeah, and I hate to say this so early on, but usually the Raiders, that first drive, they can come out, they can kind of establish things. They look decent. At least the games that we've seen, they look decent on their first drive, and then they kind of struggle, from there on out, for the most part. But tonight, just not able to get things done and trying to run the ball and just trying to use diversity in their plays, and none of it's working.
Man goes in motion. Here's Austin Floor out of the shotgun, drops back, looks to the middle of the field. Now he's pressured, gets out of the pocket, throws it to the left sideline, out of bounds. That'll be incomplete. So now 2nd and 10. Again, from the 24-yard line.
Yeah, there wasn't any Raider anywhere near in the territory. So it was funny because the defense showed blitz, then they dropped back into just a straight zone coverage. And, unfortunately, you need to be on the same page as your receivers. They have to see that defense, and they have to be able to find an area in the zone to settle down in.
Floor again has a man in motion. They give the ball to Perigo. I'm sorry, it was Devine. And Devine is stood up right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're just trying to use some misdirection. They do that, every football team does that. But, unfortunately, if you don't respect the outside game, then you're able to keep players where they need to be, and they can do their job and make the plays, and you don't have to worry about guys trying to over-pursue something and being able to take advantage of it. So they just don't respect it at the moment.
Spread formation. Here's Floor out of the shotgun, the lone back. There's the give. This is going to go to Perigo. He turns the corner, puts his shoulder down. He's going to be forced out of bounds after a pickup of only 2 yards, out to about the 26, maybe 27-yard line. And that brings up 4th down once again for the Raiders.
Yeah, the thing is they need a few of those plays to string a few of them together to be able to at least make the Knights kind of think about the fact that they can run to the outside.
The Raiders punting for the second time in this contest. Again with 3:54 left. It's a low snap, takes a bounce. There's the punt by the Raiders. It is grabbed by number 29 right at about the 45-yard line. Comes towards the ramp here. He's at into Raider territory across the 40 down to about the 36-yard line on the return. I think that was number 29, Braylon Treasure.
Yeah, a nice job that time. I like in front of him, he had one blocker right in front of him who was going to block the guy that was immediately in front of a Treasure, but he veered off, realizing that Treasure was going to get around him and took the next guy up. So that's great heads-up blocking by the Knights there.
1st and 10 from the Raider 35-yard line. Hermanson out of the shotgun. Slant route there, has a receiver. He makes the catch at the 25-yard line. And it looks like he's going to be just inside the 25 for another Knights first down.
Was that number 8, Dane Anderson, on that one? They're digging deep into our roster here. Some players that weren't normally starters are getting some playing time here. Obviously, the Knights in control of this game and getting some guys some playing time.
Hermanson takes the snap on an out route there, has the receiver. He's at the 20, puts his shoulder down, lunges forward, is going to be stopped just shy of the 22-yard line.
I think that's Treasure again out there making some plays.
It is Braylon Treasure once again.
I think Matt Kearney all over it says that number 8 was actually number 6, Matt Steffen.
Second and 3 from the 17-yard line. Hermanson throws to the middle of the field, has a receiver wide open. That is going to be number 2, Jack Stockland. From 17 yards out, right in the middle of the field, was left wide open and scores the 3rd touchdown of the game for the O'Gorman Knights.
Jack is the man tonight. Of course, you talk about that. They're usually like the 5th receiver you got to be able to cover. And it was just a blown coverage that time because he ran right up the seam, was wide open, just more excellent play calling by the O'Gorman Knights.
Here's the extra point coming up by number 17. That is Rylan Cody. That extra point is good. So on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick, we have 2:37 remaining in this first quarter. It's been all O'Gorman rather, as the Knights lead 21-0 over Rapid City Stevens. The Raiders have the football when we come back late in the first quarter. Again, you're listening to high school football on Fox Sports Rapid City. We're back in 30 seconds.
Welcome to Bowie Foods at Al's Oasis Plaza. My great-grandfather, Gus Bowie, opened the first store in 1905. I'm R.F. Bowie, the president of Bowie Foods. We aren't your typical store. You'll find everything you need for your family. You'll save money, and I promise you're going to enjoy your grocery shopping experience. We carry a lot of locally produced products and some things you just aren't going to find anywhere else. South Dakota owned, family owned, Bowie Foods.
Welcome back to the Denny Menholt Auto Group of Rapid City Press Box.
Service and detail broadcast booth, sales, service, and recreation. 2:37 to go in this first quarter with the O'Gorman Knights leading Rapid City Stevens 21-0. Of course, it is senior night for the Raiders. They do play here next week against Rapid City Central. That is a designated home game for the Cobblers next week. Cooley gets set to kick off. High end over end, taken at the 10-yard line by Rapid City Stevens. I believe that is Perigo on the return. And he'll take it out to about the 31-yard line.
Is that a big hit there on Perigo? There was some excitement. Everyone's coming off kind of cheering.
It was number 13.
It was
Perigo.
13.
Yep. So the Raiders have been forced to punt twice. They will be 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line, going from right to left. Trips left, one receiver right. Here's the shotgun snap to Austin Floor.
Comes the blitz.
Floor tried to get out of the pocket. He is going to be ankle tackled and sacked back at the 29-yard line.
Yeah, and exactly who we talked about. That is number 27, the sophomore, Talek Schlimgen. Of course, his brother, infamous Schlimgen, for the Knights a couple of years ago. Was it last year, year before? Set a record, a few team records a couple of years ago. And he went off to play ball in one of the South Dakota's colleges.
Spread formation once again. There's the give right up the middle. Some running room for the running back for the Raiders. That is Devine again. He takes it right up the middle, and that will be the first down for the Raiders if it holds. And Brett Distel says move the chains.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Great job. Devine just hits the hole. You know, when you do those quick hitters, that's the one downside of going out of a shotgun. You don't get those that ability to hit the hole. You have to sustain that block for just a hair bit longer. But that time they did, right up the A-gap, and away he went.
Austin Floor out of the shotgun once again. 2 receivers to each side. Devine is the lone back. They fake the handoff, rolling out towards the ramp side. And there's the pass. It is incomplete, intended for Perigo along the left sideline. That falls incomplete. And we're looking at 2nd and 10 now for the Raiders.
I think we got a Renchlaw flag on the field. That's back by the, let's see what Brett Distel says.
So personal foul against the Knights. That is their 3rd penalty of this ball game.
Yeah, this one, it was away from the play. I kind of caught right at the end of it, right as the flag kind of came up. I think there was a Raider getting up off the ground, one of the linemen, so I don't know if there was kind of a little, blocking too. Sometimes, you block and you teach players to block or, shed blocks or whatever it might be. You're doing battle, but if it's way away from the play, sometimes a little extracurricular activity will get a flag.
And the snap goes over the head of Floor. Floor is going to dive on the football for a huge loss back at the Raider 40-yard line.
We talked about the things you just can't have, those big mistakes by the Raiders. Penalties, turnovers, what have you. Both teams shared that's one of the big things they got to be able to take care of tonight. And, of course, that big play right there. You just got back-to-back first downs, one by yourself, one by penalty, and now all of a sudden you're looking at 2nd and this next
24.
zip code.
14-yard loss on that last play, 2nd and 24. There's the give to Devine. Devine tried to get through the gap. He's going to be stopped after a gain of 2 yards from the 41 to about the 43-yard line.
That's one thing is you need some second-level blocking. The Knights defensively at that linebacker spot. Now, the one downside for the Knights is the fact that since they're quote-unquote a smaller school, a lot of their players play on both sides. I think tonight he might be using a little bit more players to kind of balance that out a little bit. But in general, they play on both sides. But the linebackers are so good that, they get out there and they can handle if you don't get down there and get that next level blocking.
The Raiders do not get the playoff as the clock hits zeros here. That means that's the end of the first quarter here at O'Hara Stadium. Again, on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. We'll go to the second quarter with O'Gorman leading Rapid City Stevens by a score of 21-0. We will take a 1-minute timeout. Again, you're listening to high school sports, to high school football rather, on Fox Sports Rapid City as well as on GoRaidersLive.com. We're back in 1 minute.
Diamond Roofing is your trusted roofing contractor in Rapid City and the surrounding Black Hills area. With over 40 years of experience, they specialize in residential and commercial roofing, as well as siding, windows, and gutter installation. They also collaborate with general contractors to install roofs on new home construction. Diamond Roofing offers customized solutions that fit both your needs and your budget. Call 605-720-7663 for a quote or visit diamondroofingcorp.com today.
When life gets hard and our thoughts get too much to bear, finding the resiliency within us can help us find healing. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides 24/7 free support for anyone in suicidal distress or emotional crisis. All texts and calls are anonymous and connect you to local resources that uphold cultural values and pave the way to healing. Find the strength within you. Find the strength within our culture. Reach out if you need help today.
Welcome back to the
23 for the Raiders. Here's Floor out of the pocket. There's the pass to the right sideline. It looks like it is incomplete.
Yeah, they're just not going to get the job done. The Knights came in showing their 4-man front. Then they quickly dropped out to a 3 and dropped back and said, look, we may not get quite the rush on you that we want, but I dare you to throw it into our secondary. And Flora looked downfield, and he's like, the only thing I got is this little short, dump route right here on the sideline. Didn't even complete that, and so now the Raiders are forced to punt again.
Raiders punting for the fourth time as we welcome you back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail broadcast booth. In fact, the third time. And this one, in fact, did not get the punt off.
Oh, no, not at all. That was number 88. He flew in there, hit the up back who was blocking. That's Alex Christian, and stuck his arm up there and knocked the ball away, and it went backwards. And I didn't see who recovered it, but it doesn't matter because the Knights got the ball.
Knights get the ball 1st and 10 on the Raider 23-yard line, so great field possession for the O'Gorman Knights.
Yeah, he just came flying off of the end, got hit. The up back hit him, but only just merely kind of slowed him down a little bit, and he's got his arm up there and blocked it.
Hermanson drops back, looks to the middle of the field. Now he scrambles out of the pocket. There's the pass, and it's through the hands of the receiver. That was going to be Jack Stockland, the intended receiver, on an out route there. But simply, I don't know if he took his eyes off the football, but it was just an incomplete pass there.
He sure did. He took his eyes off, ready to turn the corner, head up field. He's excited. He's like the man of the night here for the O'Gorman Knights. We're going to get a hold there by the Knights.
Fourth penalty of this ball game for the O'Gorman Knights.
I'm sure Coach Poppinga, since that's one of his big keys he talked about, first thing he said, that might be kind of a big deal.
Hermanson out of the shotgun. There's the give, but the running back's going to be wrapped up for a loss of a yard.
That's Bridger Metz again, the sophomore having a night here. A couple of times he's been in the backfield, involved in a little skirmish at one time, and this time he gets another. I think that's his second tonight tackle for loss.
Metz had 10 or 11 tackles in last week's game against Sioux Falls Roosevelt for this Raider team.
This is kind of one of the bright spots of this Raider defense here. As a sophomore having a great season.
2nd and long now. Dropping back out of the shotgun, throwing it right over the middle. The receiver makes the catch. That's going to be number 1, Logan Mebius. Mebius across the 30 down to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite a middle screen, but he dropped back as if he was going to dump it out on the flat area, and then found Mebius in a little shallow crossing route and hit him, and the Raiders managed to get the tackle. Now 3rd and long situation.
3rd and 13 from the Raider 26-yard line. They'll have a man in motion. They fake the handoff. Rolling out to his right is going to be Hermanson. Now he throws it towards the end zone. The receiver makes the catch, and it's incomplete, not able to complete the catch.
He was not happy about that. Of course, that's number 29 again. We've called his name Braylon Treasure a couple of times, and not able to make the play. How about Hermanson able to kind of string that out? Took a look. I thought he might have some running room, but then, of course, the sea of blue came over there. And it's like, okay, he's not going to do that, so he just throws it up in the air, and unfortunately, Treasure can't come up with it.
They spot the ball wrong. They need to actually move it back 3 yards to the 26-yard line instead of the 23.
Just a bunch of white lines out there. They all look alike.
4th down territory for the Knights, who lead 21-0 with 10:18 to go in this second quarter. Chase Hermanson out of the shotgun, takes the snap, drops back, looks to his left, has a receiver, but the receiver wasn't even looking. Number 14, Isaac Meyer, incomplete, and the Knights turn the ball over on downs.
Yeah, he was out there. I don't know if he was going to do like a little hook route. I don't think Hermanson got forced to throw it early. He just kind of went up the seam, and I don't know. It didn't look like he was even going to turn around there. He was absolutely was not looking at it. Kind of a miscommunication there, but unfortunately for the Knights, it didn't work out, and now the Raiders come up with a big stop.
So the Knights turn the ball over on downs. It will be Raider football. Trips left, 1 receiver right as they go 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. early in the second quarter. They fake the handoff. The receiver not looking for it.
Same scenario there.
That was number 19. Brady Waddell was the intended receiver.
Yeah, Waddell doing an out, but his out was going a long time, and Flores like, you can't go out, all the way. You got to hold up a bit.
So an incomplete pass stops the clock with 10 minutes and 12 seconds till halftime. They'll go 2 receivers to each side. Once again, Floor out of the shotgun. Devine lined up as the lone back. Actually, that is not Devine. That is going to be number 20, so that is Jackson Gaeta. And he is going to be tackled for a loss back at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, those long type of, delayed read option type of looks where you just stick it in the belly and you kind of walk along with him. You're trying to read the end, deciding whether you're going to keep it or let it go. By that time, if you don't got a solid, line up front, the D line is just swallowing you up in the backfield.
Dean, we do have a wrench law flag on the field. If you find yourself in a difficult legal situation, whether it's a DUI, criminal charges, or an injury case, you need the right lawyer on your side. With over 30 years of experience, Tim Wrench is a trial lawyer and will help you get the best possible outcome for your case. Call Wrench Law at 605-341-1111 or visit wrenchlaw.com. And was that waved off then?
Yep, they declined it. It was holding on the Raiders.
They declined. Floor in some trouble, escapes a tackle, gets a block. He's at the 20, has a receiver. He makes the catch on the left sideline for a Builders first source, first down.
How about that? Great play over there, making the big catch. Is that Ferris Pendergraft, number 15? I know we've called his name all season.
I don't think we have.
But how about Floor's ability to escape that? He had his hands all over him. He rips it away. The line stays, makes a big block there, and he finds the receiver downfield and makes the throw and catch. And now the big handoff. We called, was that Gingras? Not Gingras, Gaeta. Big run there by Gaeta, and he gets about 4 yards on that one, kind of the off-tackle run, and the Raider lineman comes up limping. His teammate's like, dude, you can't be injured. Get up.
Actually takes it to just to about the 49-yard line for a gain of 6 yards. So 2nd and 4 now for the Raiders as they are close to midfield. They're down 21-0, so trying to establish some sort of a drive here as they've been forced to punt 3 times in this contest so far. They fake the handoff. Floor rolls out to his right. There's the pass. It is caught by the receiver.
That's Waddell on that one. Another first down. Waddell just running a deep out route. How about the offensive line? The Knights brought in more pressure, I think 5 that time, 4-man line, and then a blitz right up the middle. The Raiders picked it up. Floor had time to set his feet, find Waddell, again on that out route, able to get out of bounds, stop the clock. I know we're still plenty of time here in the second quarter, but still getting the big first down.
8:26 remaining till half. Austin Floor out of the shotgun spread formation. Waddell goes in motion from right to left. There's the pass. It's going to be batted down by the Knights. Floor was trying to throw to the middle of the field, but it was knocked down by the Knight defender.
Yeah, kind of a delayed blitz that time, and they read it really well and was able to knock it down. That's number 52, I think, is who knocked it down for the Knights. That's Sam Donahue.
Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 now for Rapid City Stevens from the Knights' 44-yard line. In the line to gain is the 34. Floor goes out of the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right once again. Gets rid of the football, making a diving catch. Is going to be number 13, Aiden Perigo.
He's going to be right at the sticks there. I can't see by the measurement. Brett takes a look and says, nope, that is 3rd down.
About 2 yards shy of the first down. They need to get, actually about 3 yards.
Come on, he slid to the sticks. Come on.
The ball at the 36-yard line. They need to get to, I think, inside the 34-yard line. So 3rd and short for the Raiders with 7:35 remaining in this first half. Floor out of the shotgun. The ball gets by Floor. And just jumping on it back at the Knights' 45-yard line is Jackson Gaeta. But again, another miscue by the Raiders.
You know, it's so hard out there when you're battling an opponent really good. And then all of a sudden you're battling yourself back and forth trying to make plays, and you got to drive, you sustained it, and now all of a sudden you shoot yourself in the foot with a play like that, and now here you are ready to punt again.
So the punting unit out there for Rapid City Stevens, punting from inside their own 35-yard line. There's the snap, there's the punt.
It's a great punt.
This one taken at about the 20-yard line by the O'Gorman Knights. 10-yard return down the left sideline. There's at the 40 and finally tripped up. That was Treasure, I believe.
Yep,
he has been, starting to work into the as a wide receiver, but does a lot on special teams.
Yeah, definitely. What a great return by Treasure. He ran through a couple of tackles first, and then 2 Raiders collided into each other just trying to get him. And he ended up breaking another tackle and, like you said, got out past the 40.
The 43-yard line is where they will spot the football. 1st and 10 going from right to left. Actually on the 42-yard line. There's the give.
That's Isaac Meyer around the other side. They run that play a lot. It's kind of a slot, and they do like an orbit type of motion into the backfield there, and it's kind of like that fake give up the middle, and then you give it to him trying to run to the outside. So it's like a jet, but you're going behind the quarterback, so it's not really a jet, but either way, trying to make it happen. But the Raiders did a good job diagnosing it that time.
Tight formation. Hermanson out of the shotgun. On the quarterback keeper, goes right up the middle. He's going to take it across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 4 yards, or about 4 yards from the 42 to actually 3.5 yards.
After moving the ball up the field, you got a few first downs, did the Raiders. Kind of shot yourself in the foot with a chance to move the ball farther. Now you got a 3rd and manageable situation. You can just get the Knights off the field.
Hermanson drops back. There's the pass to the middle of the field. The receiver makes the catch in Raider territory, just shy of the 40-yard line. That is going to be number 6. That is Matt Steffen to give the Knights a first down.
Again, and you don't get any pressure because the Knights set up a great play where the ball's out of the hand, so just a quick slant inside. He gets down the field inside the defender, finds a spot in that defense, makes a play, and the Knights move the chains.
5 minutes, 10 seconds remaining till halftime. 1st and 10 for the Knights. Shotgun snap to Hermanson. Hermanson, right side, has a receiver on a slant route there. That is number 1. That is Mebius making the catch inside the 30.
Just a great job. Just kind of a deep in route. He was headed up the sideline and about the 30, cuts to the inside. And, of course, Hermanson keeping things alive and is able to find him, drills him right in the chest.
Knights come up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line, just inside the 30. There's the give. That goes to, see if that was number 2 through the gap. Was that Stocklin? Who already has 2 touchdowns here tonight. And he takes it inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line. Stocklin lined up as the lone back to the left of Hermanson. Tight formation once again, 2nd and 6. In motion. Now they throw to Stocklin. He makes the catch. He's inside the 20-yard line as he lunges forward and has another Builders First Source first down. And I think we have an injured Knights player down there.
Mike, just another great play again by the O'Gorman Knights. I can't imagine what their playbook looks like. It's probably like an extra class that you got to take in, in your curriculum there. You've got just such a diverse playbook that they have. That one had a player heading back this direction. They kind of get it, turn around, that fake little outlet play that direction, and it really sets up a backside screen. He had two players out in front, so he goes back. It looked like, was it Stockland made the play there?
He did.
Two players in front of him, and I think one of the blockers here is one of the guys that's down for the O'Gorman Knights, and going back to the other side. So it is so hard to guard both sides of the field for the O'Gorman Knights. They're just so diverse. If you're a defense, and it was Stockland there, if you're the defense and you got to be able to study film and be able to defend these guys, yeah, good luck on that.
They do move the chains for a Builder's First Source first down. Whether you're a contractor or homeowner, Builder's First Source is your #1 partner for project success. They provide the highest quality building materials and expert local service you need to get the job done right the first time. Visit BLDR.com or stop by Builder's First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs. In the red zone now, here's Hermanson out of the shotgun, 1st and 10, screen pass left side, caught by the receiver. He cuts to the left, he's at the 10, the 5, in for the score. He dives in, that is number 14, Isaac Meyer, who scores from 16 yards out to put the Knights up 27-0.
Again, just excellent blocking. There was that block right at the point of attack. Meyer just read it, cut inside. Not enough pursuit from the backside by the Raiders, and Meyer into the end zone.
The extra point attempt coming up for the O'Gorman Knights. That's Rylan Cody once again to attempt the PAT. There's the snap, the hold, the kick. And the officials say it is through the uprights. So 3:43 to go in the second quarter as the O'Gorman Knights extend their lead. Again on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. It is now O'Gorman 28, Rapid City Stevens nothing here on senior night for the Rapid City Stevens Raiders. Raider football when we come back, 3:43 remaining till halftime. You're listening to high school football action on Fox Sports Rapid City and also on GoRaidersLive.com. We're back in 30 seconds.
Community banking should be kind of personal. That's because there's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to you. Fortunately, Security First Bank gets that. And that means you get more, too, like online tools, in-person expertise, and tailored banking solutions for your family or business. So, from balanced budgets to bucket lists, we're the bank for all you're doing. Security First Bank.
Welcome back to the Denny Menholt Auto Group of Rapid City Press Box. Welcome back.
And lower, those classes will start their postseason next Friday night.
Yeah, wrapping up their season, so we got playoffs talking about it. Been crunching some numbers here this week, as I always do.
In fact, next Thursday night, correction on that.
Definitely.
Here's the return. Out for the Raiders to the 26-yard line on the return. That was number 38.
Jackson Nesbitt, another sophomore. Of course, a lot of sophomores getting lots of playing time here. Probably not what you want, what you're looking for, especially this size of a school. But, you know, with injuries and just, you know, players not coming out for football this year and, you know, various different reasons, you've got to just play who's next up and ready to go. So you've got a lot of sophomores getting plenty of playing time.
1st and 10 for the Raiders, going from left to right. Ball on the right side, hash marks. There's the give that goes to Devine. Devine tries to cut to his left to find some running room. But in fact, I think he's going to be stood up at the line of scrimmage. So no gain on the carry by Devine to make it 2nd and 10 for the Raiders.
Yeah, that was stopped by big number 90. That's Jason Trulin, a sophomore D lineman, 6'3", 225. Just shoved the Raider blocker into the backfield, and Devine ran into him. And he said that's where there was no place to go.
Floor under center. Gives the ball to Devine once again. Tries to get through the gap on the left side. He's going to get a couple of yards close to the 30. In fact, they'll spot him at the 28-yard line for a gain of 2 yards. So now 3rd and 8 coming up Actually, they spotted just shy of the 29-yard line, so 3rd and 7 for the Raiders with 2:40 remaining until halftime.
Got to give some kudos now for the Raiders. Number 66, Will Vines, the junior, 260, weighing 260. He shoved his defender, I believe the defensive end for the Knights, shoved him all the way back in and out of that play.
On the sweep, they give the ball. It goes to number 13. That is Perigo. Perigo is going to take it across the 30 to about the 31-yard line, maybe 32. 4th down, and the punting unit comes out for the Raiders.
Yeah, kind of wondering there why they kind of went with that inside play. Maybe they're trying to catch him off guard either way. You know, I thought Austin Flora that last series had some good connections as far as receivers go. I think the Raiders are going to take a timeout here, but you know, there are some good connections, some opportunities. You want to be able to drive, you want to get yourself some momentum here to try to wrap up this first half, and instead you do try to go with an inside jet play there that really went nowhere.
1:51 left here in the second quarter. O'Gorman leading Rapid City Stevens 28-0 on the State Farm scoreboard.
Some interesting scores. I was just kind of taking a look there. Vermilion in Class 11A, Vermilion 14-0 over Dakota Valley, and that loss that would kind of almost all but guarantee a spot for Rapid City Christian, who's leading Custer 28-3 to make it to the playoffs, which we kind of wrote off earlier in the season, but now they've kind of climbed back in it. There's actually a chance they might actually make the 7th seed, which means they would probably, they're still kind of like 11 AA. There's kind of a mix below that number 1 spot, and who's going to be that 2nd seed might be the Christian traveling to play Del Rapids.
Mm-hmm. Of course, they played Del Rapids earlier this year as well at home.
Wasn't any easier of a game, but either way.
I believe that is Treasure back deep for the O'Gorman Knights.
Oh, he's just licking his chops, ready for another big return.
Here's the punt by Rapid City Stevens. Treasure calls for a fair catch at the 32-yard line. Then he starts to take off, but he already waved for the fair catch.
Yep,
and now comes the Wrench-Law flag on the field.
Yeah, he's going to get a penalty for that. You can't take off like that. You just got to walk off.
He's talking to the back judge there, who's Tom Polonsic, who is explaining
Right.
why he threw the flag.
Yeah, which was, unfortunate for him. I'm not sure why he waved it so early. At least give yourself a chance to see what kind of happens. He would have got, I think, another big return there because he had a big hole right up the middle.
We'll hear from Brett Distel. So a 5-yard penalty assessed to the Knights. That is their 5th penalty of this ball game.
I'm thinking you don't get that penalty too often, so you're like trying to discuss it. Okay, what happened? What?
5 penalties for 40 yards for the Knights. Low snap to Hermanson. He throws it deep down the left sideline, has a receiver, makes the catch in Raider territory inside the 35-yard line. That is going to be number 6. Matt Steffen wide open down that left sideline.
Matt Steffen again. And, Herman actually kind of dropped the ball, so to speak. Hermanson, like you said, low snap, but then I think he had to kind of re-grab it as it kind of slipped out of his hands and still had an opportunity to make that big throw.
All the way to the Raider 32-yard line. 1st and 10, Hermanson out of the shotgun. 3-step drop, looking to the right now. Under some pressure, scrambles out of the pocket, rolls to his right, gets rid of the football. It is incomplete. Was not even a receiver in the area, but of course Hermanson out of the pocket there, wisely gets rid of the football.
But that good job keeping his feet alive and keeping the play alive. Looking around, keeping going, and just a heads-up wise play there.
Here come the Knights up to the line of scrimmage. Again, 1st and 10 from the Raider, or 2nd and 10 rather, from the Raider 32. 1:10 left in the second quarter. There's the sweep to Stockland, and that jet sweep. He's tripped up there. I'm not sure if he just He tried to get around the defender, and did he trip on one of his teammates' feet?
I think that was, and that was our man of the hour that we've been calling his name several times, number 29, Treasure. But Treasure was doing a great job of blocking up there. But then we get the flag coming in, so I don't know if there's going to be, in Treasure's block, they're going to call that, or what's going to happen here.
After the play, personal foul, number 24, O'Gorman. Boy at 15 yards from the end of the play, first down.
No, I think we got to go backwards.
Yes, he did say point first down, but
yeah, and I think they're going to get together. They're going to talk about it here. Correction.
I apologize. 15 yards this way, and we'll replay.
second down. Second down there. So now they're replaying first down.
Yeah, and I think he said 24, but I think it was 29, actually. Treasure was the one out there, kind of that lead block. Yeah, it kind of looked like a sniper a little bit. He kind of hits the ground. You're like, hey, you know, what happened? Did you trip over one of the lines over there or something?
That's the second personal foul penalty against the O'Gorman Knights, as they now have 6 penalties in this ball game, and now they are backed up deep. It is second. And then we're going to get movement, so we see another flag.
Just trying to get some free yards there, trying to going on 2, but not happening. The line kind of forgot that one. And I'm sure that's going to be the one thing, you know, right now the Papiga is going to talk about at halftime. It's like, gentlemen, if anything, right now we're cruising really well, but we can't seem to have some issues going on here with, you know, a couple of personal fouls and some of those type of heads-up plays.
Second and 32 as they give the ball to I think it's Stockland.
No, I think that's number 24, actually.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I think that is
Gavin Hamrich.
Yeah, Gavin Hamrich. And he actually hasn't even really played too much. Again, he was out for several weeks and came back, played sparingly last week against the Washington Warriors.
The ball is placed at the 36-yard line, so getting a lot of those yards back was Gavin Hamrich. And just like that, a personal foul penalty against the Raiders, and that will be a first down for the Knights.
So it's kind of exchanging personal fouls here, so something obviously the Raiders did not need. They corrected it, made it on number 9 for the Raiders.
Ninth first down of this first half for the O'Gorman Knights. They lead 28-0. They will be 1st and 10 from the Raider 21-yard line. Hermanson drops back, looks to the middle of the field. Now he airs it to the right sideline. Had a receiver wide open. That is going to be Treasure, who gets the touchdown from 21 yards.
And I think the Raiders are pointing at either at themselves, hey, who blew that coverage, or one of them went over and talked to the official for a second, like, hey, he did this or that, or I'm not quite sure what they were pointing at, what they did. But, yeah, there wasn't a Raider anywhere near within 10 yards of Treasure, and just a great find by Hermanson.
Here's Cody with the extra point attempt. And that one is good with 49 seconds remaining in the second quarter. On the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick, it is now O'Gorman 35, Rapid City Stevens nothing. We'll take a 30-second timeout right here on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back to the Denny Menholt Auto Group of Rapid City Press Box.
And we'd like to welcome you back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast booth. Sales, Service, and Recreation with Dean Gurr. I'm Jerome Wickersham. O'Gorman leading Rapid City Stevens almost halftime. It's 35-0. It's been all night's football here in this first half. Raiders did move the football a little bit there, but then they started going in the opposite direction. Otherwise, they've been forced to punt 4 times in this contest. They'll get the ball for the 5th time. Actually, they did punt 5 times, excuse me. Correction on that.
You know, and it's funny when you watch, it's like you see them make a play and then make a play and then shoot themselves in the foot. And then there's, a string of plays that they don't make. So just the inconsistencies right there and then hurting themselves.
Taken at the 10-yard line for the Raiders. This is going to be Perigo out to the 25, the 30-yard line. Tries to cut back to his right. Now he puts his shoulder down, and he is going to be tackled shy of the 35-yard line. Decent return there by Aiden Perigo.
Yeah, he runs in the back of his own blocker there and had to bounce off it. Boy, his little motor was just running. Looked like a hamster running through those little traps or whatever, because he's like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep my legs moving. I'm going to find a spot and just keep going. So I love the efforts of Perigo. In fact, I think he was our player of the game last time we did this a couple of weeks ago.
Spread formation, Floor out of the shotgun. Waddell goes in motion. There's the snap. There's the give. This goes to Gaeta. Gaeta is going to be stopped in the backfield. He loses a yard to the 32-yard line as he tried to cut around the left tackle. So a loss of 1, 2nd and 10, as we're down to the final 22 seconds. A chance for the Raiders with one more play here in this half.
Yeah, I don't know if he's, obviously they're not trying to do anything. They just, I don't know if they're even going to get a playoff or not, or I don't see them even come to the line.
No,
so
they are not even going to, they will just head to the locker rooms. There's the horn as the clock is at zeros. That means we are at halftime here at Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium. On the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. At halftime, it's O'Gorman 35, Rapid City Stevens nothing. We'll step aside for 2 minutes. The halftime show coming your way next on radio right here on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Chevy Truck Month rolls on at Denny Menno Rapid Chevrolet. All roads lead here for the largest selection of new sport utilities in western South Dakota. 35 to choose from with exclusive Denny Menno discounts. Trax, Trailblazer, Equinox, Traverse, Tahoe, and Suburban. We have them all. Right now, get financing as low as 1.9% APR on select SUVs. We're offering top dollar for all trades, and all credit applications are accepted. See us at Denny Menno Rapid Chevrolet or DennyMennoRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
And welcome back to Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium on this Friday night with Dean Gurr. I'm Jerome Wickersham. We want to welcome you back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast booth, Sales, Service, and Recreation. It's the halftime show right here on Fox Sports Rapid City, and here at halftime, it's been all O'Gorman Knights as they lead Rapid City Stevens by a score of 35-0. Again, right away it was 3 scores, Dean, in the first quarter for the O'Gorman Knights. They went up 21-0. They tacked on 2 more scores in that second quarter. The Raiders had some moments where they started to drive, down the field, but then just, their drives kind of stalled out there, and they weren't able to, sustain anything. But they're facing an O'Gorman team that you get around October, and they're just a tough team.
Yeah, it's funny because even the Knights, early on, I've seen this happen a couple of seasons where early on, maybe they lose a couple of early games and they're like, oh, what's wrong with O'Gorman? Or they're not going to do this. And all of a sudden they just rebound and now they're making a deep run to the playoffs and that type of thing. So it's kind of the same old story, this year. Again, just doing, really well and beating some teams that people think they probably shouldn't beat. But you know what? They're the O'Gorman Knights. You never count them out of a game or out of a season either way. So they knew it was going to be a tough battle with the Knights coming west here to play their West River game. And, they're here. They're ready to play. They're even, what's cool about what Popping is doing is he's getting some guys in the game. He's like, you know what? We're just going to get some guys some extra time. That's one thing they always think about. Okay, we got a game, very winnable. We've got a big match against them. I don't want to get my players hurt. Okay, especially the significant players are going to have a big impact. So you start subbing in some other guys. Maybe play them sparingly because you still want to keep that intensity going. But you start, subbing in some extra guys and getting them going. So, for the Knights, they're right on track what they need to do tonight. Again, wide open playbook, attacking really well, overmatching the Raiders obviously, and looking at the Raiders, like you said, still obviously, they make a play here, make a play there, and then they get a penalty or they get a bad snap or they miss a block or something like that. And so just all the things that you have to come ready to play against a formidable opponent, and you can't be making those types of mistakes. The same thing's going to go again next week when they go against the Cobblers. The Cobblers, solid football team. They move the ball, chew up the clock on offense. They've got a couple of playmakers who can throw the ball and make catches on the offense. They've got a stout defense. The D-line is playing really, really well. So they got to be able to play a great game next week. And this is just a test right here for them. Can we put a good game together? Even though we're probably not going to win this game, but can we put something together where we can sustain some drives, where we're not hurting ourselves, all the time, whether it be penalties or turnovers or whatever it might be.
Again, here at halftime, 35-0, as with O'Gorman leading Rapid City Stevens. As we take a look at today's box score being brought to you by The Box. The Box is the Midwest most innovative event center, featuring the best courts and space to host multiple games. The Box is the premier youth sports venue in the area, but sports aren't the only thing they can host. The Box can cater and host any of your meetings, conventions, or receptions. To plan your next event, visit thebox.live. Looking at the scoring in this ball game, again, we had 3 scores in the first quarter for the O'Gorman Knights. We had a rushing touchdown by Jack Stockland from a yard out to make it 7-0. Tanner Sharon had a 34-yard touchdown reception to put the Knights up 14-0. And then Stockland again on the receiving end of a 17-yard touchdown reception right down the middle to make it 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, Isaac Meyer has a touchdown reception from 16 yards out to make it 28-0. And then on an out route there by Braylon Treasure late in the second quarter from 21 yards, he gets the touchdown. That made it 35-0. Looking at some other stats, for Rapid City Stevens, they had just 4 first downs in this first half. compared to 9 for the O'Gorman Knights. Penalty-wise, Rapid City Stevens had 3 penalties. 2 were declined. They did have that 1 personal foul penalty for 15 yards. For the O'Gorman Knights, if you were to say something maybe that did not look good for them in the first half, they did have 7 penalties in that first half. As I add this up here for a total of 7 penalties for 30, 40, 50, 60 yards. So 7 penalties for 60 yards. Probably the one thing that Coach Poppinga would probably say, otherwise everything else looked great for the Knights in the first half.
Yeah, no doubt. Play execution doing really well. There's not much you can really say in general, but yes, the penalties. And you know what? And they've, they're obviously dominating this game, so you can overplay those penalties, but that's going to be what he's talking about at halftime. And even, if they're watching film tomorrow for their next game, when they get there, whenever, or Monday, if they're doing film on Monday, either way, get together, you're going to okay, guys, and it isn't even, hey, we should have done this or should have done that. It's the false start, and I think they had 2 personal foul type of penalties. It's those things, guys. Mm-hmm. We just can't have that. We can't let the other team get in our head by getting those personal foul type of penalties.
Even, what do they call it, an illegal catch there by Treasure when he called for a fair catch and then wanted to run with it.
And that might be one of the laughable penalties. You might say, what are you doing? What were you thinking? Mm-hmm. Let's not make that type of mistake in a game where we need the yardage.
So again, at halftime, 35-0, O'Gorman leading Rapid City Stevens. We're going to take a look at some scores, but before we go to break, let's take a look at Dean Gurr's keys to the second half. Dean, obviously, if you're the Raiders, you want to try to find some positives out of this game and in this second half. So what are some keys for this second half?
Well, there's no doubt about it. And anytime you talk to a coach does not want to look ahead. They always say that all the time. But I think for the Raiders, you have to. You have to look ahead at next week's game. Now, I don't know. I'd have to get out my abacus and my protractor to try to figure out, the tiebreaker situation in 11 AAA. Should the Raiders beat the Cobblers next week, they have a shot at making the playoffs. So they got to take that game very seriously, first of all. Second of all, it's a crosstown rivalry, so they're going to think about that. So with that in mind, you got to come out and you got to do something a little bit different. You got to empty your backfield. You got to let Austin Floor, probably your quote-unquote best playmaker, I don't know if he's the best athlete, but maybe the best playmaker, empty the backfield, have him run some routes, stick your running back over there, have them move around, put a little extra stress on the secondary. Now, why do I say that with the asterisks of thinking about next week? Because I think there is a chance that might be one of the opportunities for the Raiders to take advantage of the Cobblers. Now, the Cobblers have a decent secondary, but I think if they can get some playmakers in some right spots, I think if they're going to do something next week, it's going to be in the passing game and in the secondary and in the hands of Austin Floor. Now, they need to get him something that he can use, that he can work with. Do I think they're going to do that? No, I don't think so. I think they're probably going to stick to their kind of game plan and just try to perfect a few things as it goes along. But I think it would be a good test, kind of like a scrimmage, if you will. Hey, let's try this out. Let's see if this works. Let's see. We got a whole half of football, running clock. Let's see if we can kind of do something here and see if it works. Mm-hmm. If it works against a great secondary like the O'Gorman Knights, I think we have a better shot at using it next week against the Cobblers. And then again, maybe they don't want to put it on film if they got something like that tucked in their sleeve. But, hey, you have nothing to lose right now. You're down 35-0. You might as well just give a shot.
And then for the O'Gorman Knights, obviously, they're up 35-0. But they'll clean up their penalties. But we'll probably or likely see some reserves out there too. Just getting some playing time in the second half and giving your break to your starters who will prepare for that final game next week.
Yeah, I would probably guess the starters might do 1 or 2 series here to start the third quarter, and then like you said, you're going to get a lot of They have a sideline for a school as small as they are comparatively to the AAA class. they got a lot of kids on the sideline. I think they have more kids than the Raiders have on their sideline. So plenty out there, plenty of kids who are just licking their chops to get an opportunity. They want to stay warm. It's a little chilly out there now as the temperature's dropping in this October evening. They want to get out there, maybe get some playing time.
Absolutely. Again, it is a little chilly out there. I'm not sure what our temperature was at kickoff, but right now we're looking at about 54 degrees, but it feels like 52 degrees. And will probably even get a little colder as the evening progresses.
No doubt about it.
Again, this is the halftime show on Fox Sports Rapid City with O'Gorman leading Rapid City Stevens 35-0 is your score here at the break. We are going to step aside for 1 minute. When we come back, we will run down some scores. We'll get you up to date both locally and across the state. We'll do that while we have some time here on our halftime show. This is the halftime show on Fox Sports Rapid City. We are back in 1 minute. And welcome back to the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail broadcast booth, Sales, Service, and Recreation. It is halftime right here on Fox Sports Rapid City with Dean Gurr. I'm Jerome Wickersham. The O'Gorman Knights from Sioux Falls leading Rapid City Stevens here on senior night. It is 35-0 is your score as they are recognizing those seniors here at halftime. While we have a moment, we will take a look at some scores real quickly. Again, as we take a look at our State Farm scoreboard insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. Looking first at Class 11 AAA. From earlier this afternoon, it was Sioux Falls Jefferson all over Rapid City Central, 52-10 with that loss. Rapid City Central drops to 1-7 on the season, again with just one game remaining, and that is next Thursday night in the Rapid City rivalry against Rapid City Stevens. But again, Jefferson defeats Central by a score of 52-10. Also, we have Brandon Valley with a final tonight as they defeat Harrisburg 24-0. So Brandon Valley now 8-0 on the season and look to lock up that top spot next week. I'm not sure who they finish with next week, but
they're going to play Jefferson. So
that'll be a good matchup, though.
Very, very good matchup. And Harrisburg gets Brandon Valley tonight, and then next Thursday gets Lincoln. Hey, well, how about this enjoyable season you're having?
Also, with 10 minutes left in the second, Sioux Falls Lincoln over Aberdeen Central, 21-7 is your score there. Moving on to 11 AA. As they start the second half, Yankton leading T area 17-0. It is Huron 21, Mitchell 3, Huron the top-ranked team in the Power 5 poll. Again, Huron leading Mitchell 21-3 at halftime. Brookings 56, Douglas 0. with 3 minutes left in the first. Also at halftime, Watertown 22 and Sturgis 0. That game being played up in Watertown as the Sturgis Brown Scoopers, they had the big win against Yankton. They did have some injuries, and now things look to be piling up for the Scoopers.
Yeah, definitely. They're trying to – I don't think they're even going to make a home playoff game. They have Spearfish next week, and that's going to be a big game there. But, yeah, they got to be able to just kind of take care of business right now. They are falling on very tough times.
Speaking of Spearfish, they are taking on Pierre tonight. And with 3 minutes left in the first, it's Spearfish 7, Pierre nothing. What a big win. I know it's early, but what a big win that would be for the Spearfish Spartans.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Obviously, finishing in the polls as well, and Spearfish kind of working their way up. And again, that's kind of how 11AA goes. Like, kind of anybody can beat anybody. Like the top probably 8 teams there. They're just kind of anything out there.
Moving on to Class 11A here at halftime. It's the halftime show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Belle Fourche all over Lakota Tech, 48-0 with 3 minutes left in the second. Also, 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Rapid City Christian 40, Custer 3. And so if the Comets get the win, would they even their record then at 4-4?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And right now, with 10 minutes left in the third, West Central 7, Milbank 7. And a hard-fought game there over at West Central High School. Vermilion 14, Dakota Valley 0 at halftime. Lennox leading Tri-Valley 34-0 at halftime. With 7 minutes left in the third, Sioux Falls Christian 24, Del Rapids 7. Boy, the Chargers look like they are unstoppable this year.
Yeah, they're just absolutely incredible. Just, when I was talking to Kyle Courtney, the AD for Rapid City Christian, we were talking about it. He said, they're just so dominant. And even last year during that playoff game that we actually did right here on Fox Sports, he said they even took it easy on us. And, of course, the Comets were missing like 3 or 4 key players who had just put their heart and soul into that team for multiple years and unfortunately got injuries throughout the season and just weren't able to play. But he said they even took it easy on us and still whipped us.
And one last score in Class 11A, Madison 33, Canton 6 early in that third quarter. In Class 11B, as they will wrap up their regular season tonight, it is Flandreau and Beersford tied at 14. Clark Willow Lake leading Webster area 28-0 at halftime. Wagner, which is a top 5 team, all over Miller Highmore Herald at halftime, 40-0. It is Groton area 28, Baltic 0. 6 minutes left in the second. St. Thomas More celebrating homecoming over there at Dutton Field. And the Cavaliers lead Deadwood 42-0. Looks like the Cavaliers will complete a perfect regular season.
Yeah, and it'll look really good. Of course, setting things up and looking at the scoreboard, maybe even a second seed because they go by seed points when they're determining playoffs. And we thought maybe a third, now possibly maybe even a second as things are kind of looking their direction, which means home playoff all the way through the playoffs until you get to the Dome.
Exactly, and what Dean's referring to as well is that Mount Vernon-Plankington game. If you hadn't heard, they are leading Woonsocket Wessington Springs Sanborn Central 30-0 at halftime, and boy, that would be a huge upset.
Yeah, that would, you get more power points. You get 1 point for each time you defeat somebody and you're undefeated. So that's just one extra power point. It just kind of elevates you up there. Well, Woonsocket would have, if they win this game, they will leapfrog St. Thomas More and end up being the number 2 seed, according to my calculations anyway, my rough calculations. But obviously, if it doesn't, then they are not going to make that, and STM would be number 2, and I believe Clark Willow Lake would be 3.
Some other scores, the Mobridge Pollock Tigers, who have been hit with injuries as they start the third period there at Tiger Stadium in Mobridge. It is Dual 26, Mobridge Pollock 21.
Now, Mobridge actually was down in that game and have climbed back into it. So they're trying to scrape together a good seed and possibly a home playoff game.
Also, Winter with 8 minutes left in the third. It's Winter 24, Chamberlain 0. And then one last score, Parker 20, Bridgewater Emory Ethan 13 midway through the third quarter. Plus Elk Point Jefferson leading Sioux Valley 14-6.
How ironic it would be is it's possible, slightly possible, that where Winter sits, they may play St. Thomas More in the first round of the playoffs next week. It would be fitting for that game to happen because of what happened last year with STM having to go to play Winter, playing that powerhouse it was. They were just a dominant team last year. I think they would love to get that matchup. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's close.
Also, some scores in Class 9AA. Of course, all the 9-man classes finishing up their games this evening as the postseason starts next Thursday as well. It is Stanley County 26, Gettysburg 6 with 3 minutes left in the second. We have Freeman there, the top seed. Marion Freeman Academy 44, Avon 8 early in the fourth quarter.
That's two number ones, I believe, clashing together on that one. And wow, that's a big game. Freeman just obviously showing what they're made of.
And Phillip and New Underwood, they will be squaring off later tonight. That game actually kicked off about a half hour ago, but no score yet between Phillip and New Underwood, as Phillip just has one loss on the year so far, and that is to the Wall Eagles early in the season. Again, some teams do have a bye tonight. Their bye is later on in the season. We do have a final low in Class 9A. It was Wall 55, Lyman nothing. So Wall, the top seed in the Power 5 poll. Wall is now 8-0 to finish the regular season once again. And Wallace just continues year after year to be they're a powerhouse year after year.
Yeah, a down year for them is like one or two losses for them. Yeah, they're just amazing. They look right. Obviously, right now they look dome bound, if you will. Warner, likely going to play Warner. If you will. There's other teams going to have something to say about it. In fact, Phillip right up there in that in the rankings as well as far as your seed points go. But there's definitely some teams who want to get in there and get a chance at them. But it kind of looks like it's going to be Warner and Wall in the dome. I don't mean to talk about that. That's way in November, but still, you're excited for Wall just because of what they did a couple of years ago, and then they kind of quote unquote rebuilt last year, and now their building is up and strong.
Absolutely. Dupree 32, Timberlake nothing late in the second quarter. Also at halftime, Lemon McIntosh 26, Faith nothing. Moving on to Class 9B real quick before we get set to start this second half. Kadoka area 34, Jones County 8 with 7 minutes left in the third. Sully Buttes with just under 1 minute left before halftime, all over Sunshine Bible Academy, 54-12.
And of course, Sully Buttes wants to kind of rebound after their loss last week in the is that a kind of a rivalry game who they lost to last week? Because they played. Oh, no, I already forgot.
Let me go to that quick.
Yeah.
They did play Harriet Selby area just to the north.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Walworth County.
Big rivalry, and they ended up losing that game, and so that knocked him out of the number one spot, so I'm sure they want to kind of rebound.
And that was a tight game, too, 22-20.
Right, yeah, real close.
So, again, that's a quick look at some scores. Of course, at the conclusion of our ball game here tonight, stay tuned for Score Central with Matt Kearney as he runs down all of the scores, again, locally and across the state. And, again, that's coming up. He'll have all the finals for you, and that's at the conclusion of our ball game here tonight.
And also going to give us some brackets for the 11B and 9-man schools for playoffs as well.
Real quickly, before we start the second half, just a reminder, the South Dakota State football team will play in the state of Kentucky for the first time in 47 years on Saturday afternoon when the second-ranked Jackrabbits travel to Murray State. The kickoff has been moved ahead 5 hours due to the threat of severe weather in the forecast. Kickoff now set for noon Mountain Time. You can catch the Jackrabbits football game right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your kickoff as the Raiders will receive, going from right to left. It looks like it's Perigo at the 20, the 25, now the 30-yard line. He escapes a tackle at the 40, the 45, and finally gets into Knights territory. A great return there by Perigo.
Absolutely, a great job. He ran up the middle, then he veered around to the left side, just absolutely used his speed, escaped that one tackle around the corner. Then another guy kind of tried to grab him a little bit, but again, he's just on his horse. Barely got a little bit of it. High-stepped his way out of that one. Finally was corralled and collected across the 50 into Knights territory.
Dean, this will be the best field position that the Raiders have had as Austin Floor goes out of the shotgun. There's a pass right side, caught by Waddell. He's at the 50, breaks a tackle. He's finally going to be pushed backwards. They'll give him forward progress of maybe a yard or two.
Again, they need to get the ball out of his hands quickly, get him some quick routes that he can kind of deliver a little bit. What it'll do is it'll kind of make the defense adjust a little bit. I think the Knights aren't like too quote unquote scared, so to speak. But you just want to build some confidence in your quarterback, to knowing that you're again I think you should just look into next week. What do you got for where can you match up against the Cobblers the best?
Out of the shotgun snap, Ford drops back, being chased, gets rid of the football.
The closest was Perigo, but he was, 10 yards away from that. It looked like they were trying to do the, the underplay. You get like the tight end, although they're using their jet receiver there, the motion guy underneath it, which would have been Waddell. And I think he looked one way and was thinking of going back the other way, and again, nobody there, so he just threw it away.
Dean, it is 35-0. Of course, the Knights leading Rapid City Stevens, so correct me if I'm wrong, but a running clock in the second half.
You got it.
So it's going to be 3rd and 8. Floor out of the shotgun in the spread formation, takes the snap, gets out of the pocket as he heads towards the grandstand. He overthrows the receiver. He was pointing downfield.
Yeah, he was directing traffic, and a chance he just used his arm a little too much and kind of airmailed it over the top. That was number 11, John Paul Sullivan, whose name we haven't even called here tonight at all. And he kind of threw it over the top of him. So they're going to end up, after a great return by Perigo, they're going to have to punt.
So 3 and out for Rapid City Stevens as they will be punting for the 6th time in this contest. Braylon Treasure is back deep, number 29, inside the 20-yard line for the O'Gorman Knights. Here's the snap. There's the punt at about the 43-yard line. This one angles off to the right side. It's going to be Treasure who is going to step out of bounds, it looks like. He didn't have a lot of running room as they angled it to that right sideline.
Finally, you get a great special teams play. You pin the team back. I don't know how much it's going to be, but just a great job. You force the single punter to get back over to that side, and you just, again, use your 12th player to just corral it over there.
They will spot the football on the O'Gorman 16-yard line. We'll see if we have some substitutes out there or some reserve players.
I was watching, and I think they kept their starters in, at least for now anyway.
Turning the corner is going to be number 24. That is going to be Gavin Hamrich.
Right, and he's normally a starter, but because of injuries and stuff, he's kind of seen some limited action, so maybe he wants to have him get something here. But does it look like?
I think Isaac Meyer, I thought 14 was at quarterback.
Yeah,
now.
It looks like Meyer is getting in at quarterback. You were right.
So Hermanson not in the ball game now. It's a tight formation. It's a first down. 1st and 10 from the 28 or 29-yard line. They'll give the ball off. Once again, that's going to be, I think it's Hamrich. He takes it near the 40-yard line, and that looks or appears to be another Builder's First Source first down.
But we're also going to get a penalty flag there, so he wrenched a lot of flag on the field.
We'll hear from Brett Distel, his crew tonight.
Face mask. Rapid City, number 11, 5 yards.
5-yard face mask penalty on the Raiders. Just the 4th penalty of this ball game for Rapid City Stevens.
Anyone wants to doubt the toughness of the referees, it's cold out there, and they have short sleeves on.
They do.
I'm just saying.
It's about 50 degrees out there right now.
I'm just sitting here, but still.
There's the handoff. That's going to be to Hamrich again.
Oh, he just kept moving and moving. He got another 2 yards out of that and moving the pile with just his legs.
They will spot the ball in Raider territory down to the 46-yard line. Again, the clock will just continue to run here in this second half. 7-10 and running. 35-0. The Knights with the lead here in the third quarter. Meyer out of the shotgun. On the quarterback keeper. And we're going to get a penalty. And it looks like a couple of flags come flying in there on the tackle by the Raiders.
Right, and they're going to get him a face mask, and he isn't happy. The Raiders are going to get the penalty on this. He's pointing the other direction, saying something, and his teammates are like, get out of there, stop it.
And Brett Distel.
Yeah, he's like, hey.
Putting his hand up
there. He grabbed my face. What he's saying is he grabbed my face mask. That's why I grabbed his, which he shouldn't have either way.
Rapid City, number 56, 15 yards, first down.
So a horse collar tackle against the Raiders is what they're calling on number 56.
He grabbed him and pulled him down. Now, I got to work on my definition of a horse collar because he didn't go backwards or sideways. He must have grabbed under his chest, under his shoulder pads, and pulled him down that way.
This is Hamrich again to the outside, gets inside the 10, heading for the end zone, and he is going to be stopped just shy of the first down, or of the goal line, I should say.
Looked like he was on his way, but I think there was a Raider over there who laid a little lick on him, and it's over in the corner. I didn't quite see what it was, but and this one's coming back. It's your Renchlaw flag on the field.
And that is offensive holding.
We're going to go 10 yards from the spot, holding. We'll replay first down.
That is the 8th penalty in this contest for O'Gorman. 8 penalties for 70 yards. Again, Isaac Meyer in at quarterback, number 14. They'll give it to Hamrich once again. Now we have a fumble on the play. We could have our first turnover. The Raiders jumping up and down. So they're saying they have the football. And they are correct.
Yeah. Saw Hamrick, and Hamrick absolutely, he was the hammer. He ran over a Raider, and I don't know if that's what caused it or whatever, but when he hit him, and then all of a sudden the ball's on the turf, and the Raiders are the beneficiaries of it.
And that is our first turnover in this contest. It's by the O'Gorman Knights, so the Raiders will have the football 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line.
We have like a turnover sponsored by like the Pillsbury Company, right?
I think so, yeah.
You have a bakery could sponsor a turnover of the game.
Floor out of the shotgun. There's the give. And we're going to get another Renchlaw flag on the field.
So this is either going to be a hold or a face mask here.
Brett Distel has had a busy night, his crew tonight.
Looks like they're saying holding against the Raiders. Mike Burke, the umpire there, he's talking to Brett through their little microphones that they got. This is high tech now.
And they still get together.
Yeah, some specifics here, but yeah. The next thing you know, they're going to use AI.
So holding penalty against Rapid City Stevens. So that moves the football back to the 15-yard line. 1st and 20. Dropping back is Floor. Under pressure, floats it over the middle. The receiver makes the catch. He's at the 20 and tackled from behind. That was Devine, I think. Either that or Gayetta.
Yep, no, I think it was Devine.
Yep, 26, so Devine.
Yeah, it was Devine. Just the screen play, you could see it get set up, but the linebackers did a great job at the pursuit that time. It was a kind of a 3-3 defense there, and as they drew him in, the linebackers were ready for that, and they circled over. Got some yards back.
They spot the football at the 22, so the Raiders trying to make it a manageable 3rd down. Here's Floor taking the shotgun snap, rolling out to his right, throws it deep down the left sideline, has a receiver, but it's no good.
That was Sullivan. It looks like it's at 11. Just right on
wide
the fingertips.
open.
Right on the fingertips.
Looks like it was number 11, but we do get another Renchlaw flag on the field. That is holding. Back-to-back holding penalties against Rapid City Stevens.
We were talking about the O'Gorman Knights cleaning up their penalties. Now the Raiders all of a sudden, they went from wearing blue to wearing yellow.
So now the ball placed back inside the 15 down to about the 11 or 12-yard line. 2nd and long. Austin Floor out of the shotgun. Spread formation. Takes the snap. He'll throw it deep down the left sideline. The receiver, though, really ran out of real estate, and he was already out of bounds. That was Waddell, I believe, or actually 16, so that would be Lucas Marcus.
I believe he was injured the last time we did a game here. I saw him on the sidelines, and so, yeah, he threw it up there, but unfortunately it was a great back shoulder throw, except for the back shoulder ended up drifting out of bounds.
So now 3rd and long coming up for Rapid City. Stevens with just under a minute to play. Again, a running clock to remind you here in the second half. Floor rolls out to his left under pressure, and he is going to be tackled as he does get some positive yardage, but he goes down hard there as he was tackled by a host of Knight players.
Yeah, he got low. Obviously you don't want to stay upright, get drilled, especially you're like a target. You're running along the sideline there. A defender is just licking his chops in an effort to just drill you and knock you out of bounds, even if it's legal or not. But he went down, went low. So if anyone's going to tackle him, they would have to get low and not get much on him.
4th and long, punting unit out there for the Raiders. Here's the punt at about the 6-yard line. This one will drop. Number 7 actually does not drop. Number 17 able to make the catch. And that's going to do it. That's the end of the 4th quarter, but it's a return by number 17, Rylan Cody, who usually does the kicking duties, if I saw that number right.
His turn to go the other way. You know what they did? It looked like they dropped two returners back. That way you're a little bit closer and get a better chance at returning it. But either way, it is the end of the 3rd.
End of 3 quarters of play here at Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium. On the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agent Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. O'Gorman 35, Rapid City Stevens nothing. The 4th quarter coming your way next when we come back in 30 seconds right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And we'd like to welcome you back to the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Broadcast booth, Sales, Service, and Recreation. With Dean Gurr, I'm Jerome Wickersham. Thanks for joining us on Fox Sports Rapid City, and also thanks for joining us on GoRaidersLive.com.
The coaching staff for the Raiders are just absolutely up in arms. Did they place the ball wrong or something? He's like, hey, what are you doing? And twice now, Brett has blown everything dead and see if they can talk about the correction. Now he's going to get together with his...
And Willie Steven is coming out as well, the head coach. So they are discussing, having a short conversation there.
All right. I don't know if it's short or not, but it's enough. And whatever it is, and it is a 35-0 game. No scoring there in that 3rd quarter.
On the Rapid City Stevens 36-yard line.
A new running back out there, and the Raiders smell it, and whoo-hoo! I'm a man of the hour, Bridger Metz again coming up with a big, I believe that is the 3rd one tonight, his tackle for loss.
Max Mebius, the 6', 180-pound sophomore, is the new running back.
And I think we have a new quarterback too. 20-something, 27.
There's the give to number 32, who tries to turn the corner, able to find some running room. You try to track down that quarterback. Again, that was number 32, Slayton Jones, a 5'11", 185-pound sophomore with the carry.
I'll tell you what, he was half a tackle away from getting hit in the backfield. Howard O'Neal, the senior defensive lineman, comes flying in there and just had some arms around him, but just the centrifugal force just threw him off like a planet, and he took off.
Out of the shotgun, it's number 27 at quarterback. There's a screen pass. It's going to be number 32 once again. That is going to be Jones, who makes the catch. So 27 is Talek Schlimgen.
Yep.
A 6 foot, 180-pound sophomore.
Younger brother of Sullivan Schlimgen. Every time I hear that, I want to say, I know this is going to date me, but snap into a Slim Jim. Sorry.
That is old. Yeah.
That is old school.
So Schlimgen out of the shotgun, has a man in motion. There's the pass over the middle. Receiver wide open inside the 10 down to the 5-yard line. And that'll be first and goal for the Knights. Making the catch was number 32. So that was Jones again. And the Knights knocking on the door once again.
And I think there were times when, I think because of injury, Sullivan Schlimgen had to be quarterback as well, so Talek is there.
And Schlimgen again to a wide open, is that number 18, Noah Myers. Maybe I saw that wrong.
Yeah, you're good. It might be.
We'll see.
18 maybe. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. The shadows. 15 maybe. 18 maybe. They're all excited for him.
Nonetheless, a 5-yard touchdown strike for Schlimgen.
Yeah, Noah Myers, a senior, 5'9", 160. I think that's probably why, because you think of the stature and girth that you need to play football, and he's getting a chance to get in here, and a botched snap, the bad snap, but the fire call, and it isn't going to happen there, but almost. As again, a bad snap, kind of a high snap, and the kicker picks it up and tries to throw it into the end zone and does not make it happen. So we'll stay at 41.
Clock is stopped with 9 minutes and 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Again on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. Right now it's O'Gorman 41, Rapid City Stevens nothing. It'll be Raider football when we come back in 30 seconds on Fox Sports Rapid City. And again, welcome back to Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium on this Friday night. Jerome Wickersham and Dean Gurr with you on Fox Sports Rapid City as we welcome you back to the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Broadcast booth, Sales, Service, and Recreation. So the O'Gorman Knights from Sioux Falls getting set to kick off. They lead 41-0 with 9:33 to go in this ball game. We have a running clock due to the mercy rule.
Checking in some scores in the second quarter. Spearfish 21-0 over Pierre.
Wow.
Again, they just started the second quarter. So
Spearfish could definitely make some noise in the postseason as well.
No doubt it.
Here's the kick, end over end, taken inside the 15-yard line by Perigo. Had a nice return last time. This time he's going to be tackled or stopped just at about the 28-yard line. And that's where the Raiders will have it.
Are they like aiming at Perigo? He had that great return last time. I would be the special teams coach. I'm like, either they scouted it and said, we don't want to kick it to the other guy. We want to try Perigo or what. But again, they kick it right to him.
Raiders come up to the line of scrimmage. The ball on the 28-yard line going from left to right. Spread formation once again. Floor out of the shotgun. There's the give. Devine, I think, was the ball carrier, but he found no running room. Actually, it was Jackson Gaeta.
Yeah.
But he found no running room. It's going to be a loss back to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, just the pressure of that D-line coming up there. Just beating their blocks, getting inspired, getting into the backfield. They're probably just excited that they can stay warm and get some playing time. Look at some of the numbers, and I think they're all new guys in there.
2 receivers to each side. Floor out of the shotgun. Again, they fake the handoff. Floor lunges forward. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage at about the 28-yard line.
Well, I don't know if it was just a miscommunication there. The 3-4 defense by the Knights, they had a blitz coming from the right side of that O'Gorman Knights, and that looks like where that play was going. And I know did Floor see it and decide to keep the ball, because Gaeta kind of stopped there and kind of looked around and like, what are you doing? I'm supposed to have the ball.
3rd and 9 is what they show on the scoreboard. Taking the snap out of the shotgun, rolling out to the right is going to be Floor. He's going to run, and he's going to be forced out of bounds just shy of the 35-yard line. Back, they stop the clock. They'll give him progress to the 35.
Yeah, they won't stop the clock. They're going to keep it running.
So, yeah, they will not stop it. I guess I saw the official blowing his whistle, but the clock will continue.
Millbank making a comeback against West Central, 21-19 with 10 minutes to go in the fourth
wow.
quarter on that one. Trying to keep an eye on that Mobridge game. 28-26, Mobridge has taken the lead.
Wow,
with 3
over
minutes
Dual.
to go in the third quarter.
The Dual Cardinals. Of course, we've been there before.
Right.
And we've been to Mobridge
and
before
we've been
as
to
well.
Mobridge. I was thinking about that as we came up here. I was like, man, we got such nice weather. I remember way back when we had to go in subarctic temperatures up to Mobridge.
Yes, it was
and
very
sit outside.
cold. And sit outside, very cold. Of course, then we go to Dual, which I believe is Clear Lake.
Yep.
And that was very cold, and it seemed like it was
Icy.
raining,
Yeah, it was
icy.
Slightly icy.
Yes, so we had some trips to eastern South Dakota in very cold weather.
Went covering at least in Dual. We were over Mobridge. We looked across the way, and there the crow's nest over there was nice and warm, and probably laughing at us as we were outside in the stands. Sitting next to some unhappy St. Thomas More fans, if I remember correctly. We had to try to stifle a few things.
Cavaliers took on the Mobridge Pollock Tigers that evening.
Lost that one. End of the third. It's still Mount Vernon Plankington 30 and Woonsocket Wessington Spring Sanborn Central nothing. End of the third.
And where's that game being played tonight?
That is in Wessington Springs.
It is, okay. So after that timeout, it looks like 4th down territory for the Raiders, rather. Going for it on 4th down. They're looking at 4th and about 3. Ball at the 35. The line to gain is the 38. Going from left to right, Perigo goes in motion. There's the hand to Devine. Or the give to Devine, and he's going to get the first down for the Raiders as he gets through the gap and takes it to the 43-yard line, or the 42.
Yeah, I'm sure what it was. He went under center. He's been shotgun all game. He went under center, so they're thinking it's going to be a quarterback sneak type of thing. Get ready to push. Everybody's uptight, ready for that push, and instead he goes out of center, and they go off tackle.
5th first down of this ball game for the Raiders with 6:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Again, 41-0. Dropping back, Austin Floor, pump fakes. Now he's going to slide at the 46-yard line after a gain of maybe 3 or 4 yards. It looks like 4 yards, so we're looking at 2nd and 6 for the Raiders.
Again, that's the type of things you need. Let's, it's ticking away. Let's see what they can do. He needs to be able to kind of deliver the ball. He still needs to. He made a play there. Which I don't know if that was a designated, because he didn't really look downfield that much. I think he saw a hole and took off with it. But he needs to work his receivers a little bit. You've got kind of the JV, the second string players in for the O'Gorman Knights. Work that secondary.
Floor takes the snap, gives it to Gaeta. And he is going to be stopped after a gain of 2 yards from the 46 to almost the 48. Actually, just a yard. So now we're looking at 3rd and 5. The line to gain is the Knights' 48-yard line. 3rd and 5 from the Raider 47, down to just under 5 minutes left in this contest. Spread formation, Floor out of the shotgun, drops back. He's going to throw it down the right sideline, but it's incomplete. He had Waddell down the right sideline, but he throws it out of bounds.
Yeah, at least for tonight, that's not his game tonight for Floor. Throwing a ball on the run. He is more of he can scramble, he's got some legs, he can make some plays there, but if he's going to throw the ball, it's got to be a rollout, setup, throw. He can't throw on the run right now. We've seen several balls that just weren't even close. So you need to put him in a pocket, put some routes to have him get the ball out of his hand quickly.
Looking at 4th and 5, so now the punting unit out there, but they're going to blow it dead as the Knights take a timeout.
I would absolutely have gone for it. You're down 41-0, running clock, 4 minutes left to go in the game. Why not give it a shot?
So we have a timeout on the field with 4:01 remaining in the 4th quarter. O'Gorman 41, the Raiders nothing. On the State Farm scoreboard, insured by agents Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. Some other scores real quickly. In Class 11 AA, Yankton 24, T Area 7. Midway through the 4th quarter, Huron 21, Mitchell 3. It's Brookings 59, Douglas 8 with 10 minutes left in the 4th. 29-7 as Watertown leads Sturgis as they start the 4th. And like Dean said, 8 minutes left in the 2nd. It's Spearfish 21, Pierce 7. St. Thomas More gets the win tonight, 55-0 over Lee Deadwood to end the season. The Cavaliers at 8-0 during the regular season. They go for it on 4th down. Floor out of the pocket, being pressured. He's going to be tripped up at the 40-yard line. And he is going to be down. It's going to be a turnover on downs for the Raiders.
I don't know if the O'Gorman Knights suspected something like that. Because that's why he called the timeout. Say, hey, let's set this up. We got to be ready. If they pull a fake here, we got to be ready. I mean, I'm thinking he's going to go for it on 4th down no matter what. Why did they line up to punt? And maybe Coach Poppinga was not fooled at all.
So now we see the Knights up to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 from the Raider 41. There's Schlimgen, pass right side, caught by the receiver. Goes down the right sideline. He's going to be close to a 1st down. As we approach 3 minutes remaining now in this contest. Just a reminder, the Pioneer Bank and Trust post-game show coming your way next at the conclusion of this ball game on Fox Sports Rapid City.
And of course, Matt Kearney going to do Score Central. I'm excited for that one. I'm going to be listening intently on our way home and see what playoff matchups are.
2nd and short. They'll give the ball off. Breaking to the outside, now cutting back to the left. That's going to be number 29. That is still, was that Treasure?
Yeah, Treasure's 29 there. Is that Treasure getting the ball carry there?
It looks like it is,
yeah.
Yep. So Treasure's going to move the chains.
He was not only breaking to the outside, he was breaking tackles. People were falling off him like Jared and his weight loss.
11th 1st down for the O'Gorman Knights. Again, Schlimgen passes left side. It's going to be caught by the receiver. He's at the 15, the 10, the 5, heading for the end zone.
That's the 20.
And that's number 28. So that is Remington Jones, the sophomore running back. But this one looks like it's coming back.
Oh, man. He had everything. In fact, he even broke the ankle of the Raider player over there. And are they going to get him on a hold?
They are. So that's a wrench law flag on the field. If you find yourself in a difficult legal situation, whether it's a DUI, criminal charges, or an injury case, you need the right lawyer on your side. With over 30 years of experience, Tim Wrench is a trial lawyer and will help you get the best possible outcome for your case. Call Wrench Law at 605-341-1111 or visit wrenchlaw.com. So that touchdown is erased by Remington Jones. Schlimgen out of the shotgun once again. Takes the snap. There's the give. nowhere. No running room for number 42 for the Knights. Easton, not sure the pronunciation of that name.
Which one, 42?
Yep.
So I was busy looking at someone else there, no, 42. Oh, that's Scheit.
Easton Scheit?
Scheit. Easton Scheit.
So he is dropped for a loss. We're down to the final 50 seconds. It's second and long.
Parker Scheit. I got to give kudos to Howard O'Neill there, getting the big tackle for loss.
Here's Jones, tries to get through the gap, now breaks it to the outside. He's at the 20, the 15, cuts back to his left, inside the 10, and tackled at the 7-yard line.
I wonder if that's Maverick's little brother. Because Maverick Jones, if you remember a couple of years ago, he was a stud player for the O'Gorman Knights. And, of course, it's always family. They always have, 10 kids or 6 to 10 kids in a family, and they all play football. So
that's a Builders First Source first down. Schlemgen down to 15 seconds. They give the ball, I think it's to Jones. He's going to be stopped. Well, they call a timeout. The clock is still running again. That was a Builders First Source first down. Prior to that, they're going to let the clock run out. Remington Jones did not score for the Knights, but that's going to be your final. As you hear the song or the band playing. So again on the State Farm scoreboard, insured by Agent Scott Carlson and Matt McCormick. The final score here at Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium on Week 8 action. It is the O'Gorman Knights 41, the Rapid City Stevens Raiders nothing. We're back in 1 minute. The Pioneer Bank and Trust postgame show coming your way next, right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. Gotcha.
Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opioid, up to 100 times stronger than morphine. Even a tiny amount can be deadly. It's often mixed with other drugs without your knowledge, increasing your risk of overdose. Protect yourself and your loved ones and avoid unknown substances. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, one pill can kill. For more information on fentanyl prevention, visit your local health resource or speak to a healthcare professional today. This message was brought to you by the Great Plains Tribal Opioid Response, so that the people may live.
Welcome back to the Denny Menholt Auto Group of Rapid City Press Box.
And back here at Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium on this Friday night with Dean Gurr, I'm Jerome Wickersham. We want to welcome you to the Pioneer Bank and Trust postgame show right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. Pioneer Bank and Trust is proud to support our local teams, and they're your trusted partner for all of your banking needs. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local. Visit pioneerbankandtrust.com. So again, another tough loss for Rapid City Stevens as they lose tonight to the O'Gorman Knights from Sioux Falls by a final score of 41-0. O'Gorman with the win improves to 5-3 on the season. And then, of course, for Rapid City Stevens, they drop to 0-8 as they look ahead to next week. It's the Rapid City rivalry. It's the Raiders and the Cobblers next Thursday night to end the regular season. Dean, again, for the O'Gorman Knights, they jumped out to that 21-0 first quarter lead and really never looked back. The Raiders, again, tried to get things rolling, and coming out after halftime to see if they could, maybe get the find the end zone, but just not the way it turned out tonight for the Raiders.
Nah, it was, like I said, kind of more of the same thing. A play here, a play there. They look like they can make something happen, and their playbook is not really diverse. Now, I don't know the reason for that. I'm not part of the coaching staff. I know sometimes there's reasons for that, but it's just not diverse, and so